This all came about some years ago. Judge Keys and others in the group decided to put a monument together at Forest Park, right on the left field line of Walker Grandstand, commemorating what occurred back in 1934 in Gastonia, when Bunny Talaferro, who was one of the great ball players in the city of Springfield's history, African-American black ball player, and this is before Jackie Robinson. This is before Dr. Martin Luther King. They went down to the regionals to go to the nationals, and it was a different time then, and not a good time, and they were not welcome down there. One person was not welcome down there, and a lot of things happened, which I'm sure Tony King can go into. But all these young men, 14, maybe 15, 16, 15-year-olds, 16 at the most, in 1934, said it didn't matter about the color of his skin. They said, he's our friend, he's our teammate, and if he doesn't play, we don't play. And Tony King led that charge with Dan Keys and others. And they decided to leave. And they came back to a hero's welcome here in the city of Springfield. So you fast forward it, and then the committee again, Brian Collins and Gary Brown, Mike Barecki, I'm missing people on here. They started putting this Father's Day game together, and the history started to come out, and a book's been written. Maybe, you never know, maybe a movie might come out too. Tony, who do you want to play you? Robert De Niro? Who do you want to play you, by the way? You told me. Who do you want to play you?
Boris Karloff.
Well, he still has it. So we do the events, the story starts to come out. Superintendent Warwick is so gracious buying books. Danny and I read them many a times to our school children. Lo and behold, the story starts to get out. Mayor Bridgman sends me a wonderful letter, a healing letter. I was so touched upon it. We started to correspond, and then as we went further, we said, let's work together for a home and away games. So this year, and I'm glad Tony King's here, next year too, to throw out that first pitch, it came about. And this all came about because of those young men back in 1934, 81 years ago. And now we stand proudly here today. And I'm really honored and touched that Mayor Bridgman and his contingent and the post-23 team is here, and the post-21 team. It's up to you guys to carry on the legacy of harmony and respecting each other's cultures and working together. So without further ado, let me turn, got two mayors for the price of one. Let me turn it over to Mayor Bridgman, and then I'm going to have some others speak. But we're going to close with the slugging second baseman, Tony King. So you don't want to miss that. Mayor Bridgman, let's give a big round of applause.
Now, I'm saving the best one until Sunday. So because maybe you're hungry or maybe you have other things to do. Welcome, everyone. I mean, not welcome, but we're glad to be here with you in your city. I do have Mayor Pro Tem Brenda Craig and Councilman Todd Pearsall with us here so far, and of course also from the city. Now, they're not all here yet. I understand they're in traffic, including our team. I don't think they're going to chicken out or anything. I think that I think they're practicing is what I think. No, but they're in some traffic, and I understand Chuck Dallinger, our recreation director, and I believe they're on their way, are they not? Close by. Okay. God bless America. And that's all basically I want to say. I'll say it to Boris here too, because, as Mayor Turner said, my mother was born in 1914 in Gastonia. I was born 10 years after 1934, a block from where this situation happened. A block. Actually, we had our meeting Tuesday night on the property where it was. Why? Because that's the Gaston County Courthouse, but it happens to be the property where this all basically took place. The Sims Park, where the game was. It's still there. It's the home of the Gastonia Grizzlies. The owner is a a native of Springfield, Massachusetts. But on a somber note, and by the way, we brought Richard Walker from the Gaston Gazette, certainly historian and also a sports writer, and does a wonderful job. Lives in the wonderful city of Belmont, North Carolina. But and we do talk a little different than y'all, I know. But I wanted to tell you, well, someone's already asked about the grits, and they not much flavor. They're pretty good. Yeah, put butter on it. On a sad note, let me say that what the mayor was referring to quickly, and I'll hush, is regarding here we are, all of us are here for a particular healing reason. And then this transpires in Charleston, South Carolina. And I was certainly at a prayer meeting forum last night in the African American church in Gastonia. Lo and behold, and I did not know this until today, that the lady who I just saw on national television, MSNBC, Mrs. Deals, who actually was late getting to work. She was going to a little town called Kings Mountain, North Carolina, next door to us. She lives in Gastonia. She lives in gas population 75,000. She called she and her boss called the police because they just she spotted this young man. It was no particular reason because it wasn't, he didn't live there. He didn't live where he was caught, but the guy that is of course in jail. And it's a sad situation, but it's also just a small world. I'm so glad naturally that he was not able to do any more damage. I'm through for now, but I'm going to tell you, there needs to be more Tony Kings in this world, in this country. There needs to be more Tony Kings. We'll get into it later, but it's a sad situation. We had to ask a lot of people. It's certainly, folks, not that way anymore. In closing, let me say the mayor and I have two things in common I know of, except he still got more hair. I don't know how he did it. He has two daughters, I have two daughters, but I have two sons also. But maybe that's your problem. But the other thing is that he served on the council before being mayor. I served on the council, and I served for years and years with one of the nicest gentlemen who's deceased is T. Jeffers was his name, and he was an educator in the school system, and he was an African American. And he never had competition in our city. I mean, he was so diligent. He was so good, and we've had so many more since then, and we are continuing to go that route. And so it's not like it was. I can stand here all day and apologize. This is something we'd like to erase. It can't happen, so we can apologize, and it has happened.
I'm not going to read it through, but we have an official proclamation that's declaring this American Legion Post 21 and Post 23 weekend a truly great teaching moment, and God bless them. That's for you, Mayor. Thank you.
This is a wonderful, wonderful event for the city of Springfield and the city of Gastonia. After all these years, to have this healing weekend is just amazing. For a long time, Dominic and I we were hoping that something like this could happen, and we really thought it was a dream and it would never come true, but it did because of the good folks in Gastonia who have agreed to come up. And this has been a tradition now, a legacy event in the city for the last 5 years. And it's getting out to our younger generation of people who have never heard about this story before. But now it's come to life again when the superintendent bought about 75 books and put them in all the school libraries so the young kids could get to know what happened and the legacy of the city of Springfield. And, you know, these kids grew up in Springfield. They were taught by our educators and our clergy here, and they believed what they were taught, that all men are created equal, okay? And that's what they stood for down there. They became great. You know, they say of greatness that some people are born into it, others work a lifetime to achieve it, and others have it thrust upon them. But when they had it thrust upon them, they stepped up to the plate and hit a home run for Bunny Taliaferro and the city of Springfield.
Danny?
Thanks, Mayor. This story makes me very, very proud to be a lifelong resident of the city of Springfield. To have those kids go down to Gastonia, give up a national championship to come back because they wanted to do the right thing. The reason it's really special to me is I grew up on Hungry Hill where Judge Keyes grew up and know the Keyes family. And Judge Keyes was someone we always looked up to and listened to where I grew up. And to hear the story from him, it was really special, that it was a matter of doing the right thing. Winning a national championship, winning a ball game, that wasn't what was important. It was doing the right thing to fight racism at that time and giving up what could conceivably be a great or your only opportunity in life to win a national championship. But it was more important for those kids from Springfield to do the right thing and to combat racism. And that's why I'm so proud of it. The other thing that when I used to hear Judge Keyes speak, that was always I always took heart in to our kids here is he'd always say, coming from humble beginnings on Hungry Hill and really achieving great things, that education was the great equalizer. So to continue to pursue your education, get education, and more education, and you'll equip yourself for life. So those are two messages we'd like you to take away. We did buy it for all of our libraries and all the schools because I think this story has true meaning. But from the bottom of my heart, as a longtime Springfield resident, this is a story I am so proud to say I'm a Springfield resident, and what these kids did at that time was just incredible. So thank you.
I see Guy McLean here, who's Mr. Historian, the Lyman and Marywood Museum of Springfield History, $8 million edifice that we have there. And Springfield, for the out-of-towners, is the home of 50 to 52 innovations and inventions. And in that museum is a section pertaining to what occurred in 1934 in Gastonia. So, Guy, we really appreciate you being here. Now, somebody had to write about it. Somebody had to illustrate it. Somebody had to tell the really emotional story. And that person is the Professor Richard Anderson from Springfield College, who has done a tremendous job. And we're going to get somebody else besides Boris Koloff to play you too. So put your hands together for Professor Anderson.
Thank you very much. Thank you all for coming. The significance of this event has been told many times and will be told many times for years to come. This is a story about heroes, but I'd like to address what I'm going to say today to the current players of the post-21 team. This is a story of heroes, many heroes. Bunny Taliaferro, who with 2,000 people screaming and jeering and threatening him, was able to hit 6 home runs on 6 pitches during a batting practice. This is a feat that very few players are capable of doing. This is a 15-year-old boy who has never been farther away from Massachusetts than Vermont. And now he's in Gastonia, which really is, for his experience, a foreign country. But he steps up to the plate. He hits 6 home runs on 6 pitches. It's a remarkable achievement. You know from watching the home run derby that players, professional ball players, even when balls are being thrown at them so they can hit home runs, cannot hit 6 home runs on 6 pitches. He does it at the age of 15, which I think is younger than all of the people here. But there are 2 heroes that I want to cite especially today. The first, of course, is Tony King. Tony King was the captain of the team, and he was the first person who was to speak when given the choice of whether the team would stay in Gastonia and play in the tournament without their friend and teammate Bunny Taliaferro or return to Springfield. Tony stood up and said, "Bunny is a member of this team. If he's not playing, I'm not playing either." All of the other players on the team, they voted unanimously and without debate to follow Tony's lead. What would have happened if Tony had said no? What would have happened if Tony had said, let's play. We can win this game. The coach had already told him they could win the game. What if Tony had said, let's win for Bunny. We'll win here in Gastonia. We'll go on to Chicago. We'll win the national championships. what would have happened to that team? Nothing. We never would have heard from them. We never would be here today. Why? Because Tony had the courage in 1934, and Tony, unlike Jackie Robinson, did not have the Brooklyn Dodgers in Major League Baseball behind him. Unlike Rosa Parks, he didn't have a network of churches that were ready to mobilize and go into action and to strike against a bus company. Tony is a hero because he said no. No. Tony said, I'm not going to participate in this game. I'm not going to stand by while someone else is diminished, demeaned, or dehumanized in any way, shape, or form. He stood up and he hit the home run for people everywhere. The second hero that I want to mention is Mayor John Bridgman. Just like Tony, who could have said many things other than no, Mayor Bridgman said yes, right? He gets the copies of the book. There are many ways that he could have responded, but he is the one who wrote the letter to Mayor Sarno, who responded positively, and we are here today, in a sense, because one person said no and another person said yes. This event today is a day of closure, it's a day of healing. We've talked about that before, but it's also a new beginning. It's a beginning between, a new beginning of a new life between two cities, and I hope, although I don't think this has been mentioned many places, but I hope that this event that occurs today, the game on Sunday, that this will be the first step towards Gastonia and Springfield becoming sister cities, okay? The last thing I want to say to the players, and this is something that Governor Deval Patrick said to the players of the post-21 team 5 years ago after a 76-year protest against the American Legion's tolerance of racial discrimination in the South. What Governor Deval Patrick said on that day, and I'm saying to you today, is that you can be a hero at any age. You can be heroes. Tony was younger than you when he stood up and said no. You be heroes too. Be like Tony King, be like John Bridgman, and go out and win on Sunday. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And some of the post-21 team, many of the ball players are from Central High School, who represented us very proudly in winning the Western Mass title and in representing us in the state tournament. So we're going to give you a round of applause. Very proud of you. I wore the tools of ignorance in my younger days as an old catcher in high school and Legion in college, so we're proud of you. But I think Professor Anderson and others have indicated you can't lose with this combination, excelling not only on the field, but off the field in the classroom, and you can't lose with that. With that, I know people they want to eat, but I think we want to close with, and I appreciate all my colleagues being here, but Nancy Keys, Judge Keys, and then that slugging second baseman, Tony King, to tell you he lived through it. Nancy heard it for many, many years from Judge Keys. And Nancy, why don't you come up and say a few words?
Thank you, Mayor Sarno. Mayor Bridgman, thank you so much for being here. This is just a great day. You didn't come here to listen to me, so all I can say is I thought it was interesting when I came in this afternoon and someone said to me, oh, your father would love this, you know, if he were here. And I said, he is here. The whole team is here. They're watching, and they all have those little caps on that you guys are wearing. Believe me, they're sitting around a circle, cheering Tony on today, because he was their captain then, and they know that, you know, the captain goes down with the ship, so he's the last one standing. And we're so proud of him, and I know he's proud of them, because he knows that they're with him also. So thank you, everybody, and good luck to the team on Sunday.
My only claim to fame is I outlived my teammates, you know? Christ, when we were kids, everybody played baseball. We didn't know girls were the opposite sex. We just thought they were lousy hitters. Playing with the Legion when we went down south is one thing I never forgot. I'm walking down the street. We were only 14 to 16 then. Today it's 16 to 18. But I was walking down the street from the hotel. These two colored gentlemen are walking towards me. They jump out in the road. They couldn't pass me on the sidewalk because they were black and I was white. And it's the biggest impression I got on our trip to Gastonia was that. But Legion baseball, I thought was wonderful. When I was a kid, we lived in West Springfield by Gilman and Barker's. And we loved baseball so much. I pumped a bicycle from down there in West Springfield up to Blunt Park with a kid on the handlebars so we could both try out for the Legion team. Because that was a big thing in them days. Nobody had any money, all we did was play baseball. But I think Legion baseball is wonderful. It keeps kids out of trouble. Baseball is wonderful anyway. Like Ted Williams said, it's the toughest sport to play when you got a round ball and a round bat and you got to hit it square. I better get going now.
Well, again, I know,
Excuse me, but that's one time I didn't get my Viagra jokes in there.
Moving right along.
now you know why I call him a slugging second baseman. That was a flat fastball and he hit it right out of the ballpark. But as Mayor Bridgman indicated, and really eloquently, as Professor Anderson indicated, Captain Tony King did the right thing. He did the right thing at a time that was not done. And you know what? After Mayor Bridgman, we spoke about the tragedy at the Mother Emanuel Church, AME Church, and said, still, some demented people still not doing the right thing. So it is ironic. We wish that a tragedy did not occur, but to Tony King and the Keys family, to my colleagues, the people, the nuts and bolts people who put this together. I hope this sends a resounding and clarion call not only out to Springfield, to Massachusetts, to America, and even the world, that these young guys, Tony King, who's going to be played by, maybe Tom Cruise will play him, 14, 15 years old, under immense pressure and threats of their lives, in 1934, had the intestinal fortitude, I can't say what I want to say with the Viagra, to stand up. And then 81 years later, Mayor Bridgman hears about it, sends me a wonderful letter which Gary Brown had put in the Republican, and we started conversing, Brian Collins, the rest of the committee, and lo and behold, we're here. So we need you young guys to make sure that you continue to be role models and ambassadors of what is the good of America, whether it's urban America or small town America. This is important. You might not think it's important right now. I know most of you do, but 20 years, Mayor Bridgman, 20 years down the road, or 30 or 40 years down the road, 81 years down the road. So it's really a special day. Everybody enjoy and look forward again to playing tonight at South Park. Mayor Rich Koss, Coach Danny D. Tomorrow, they're again Barber Camp at Western New England University. Beautiful facility there. They're going to be playing there. And really, the hallmark game is Sunday at Walker Grandstands, where we all played a tremendous amount. The monuments are right there in left field. And guess who's throwing out that first pitch? That's right. That's slugging second baseman. Put your hands together for Tony King. Tony King. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, everybody.